Welcome to Exterior Forces. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Lynch, and I want to thank you for watching the mini-series on Exterior Forces. Today we'll look at a medium within a medium. On Exterior Forces, we see mediums all around us. They are not just the psychic that has a crystal ball that stands before us at a table, or a tarot card reader that will predict our future. There are mediums that we take for granted every day. One is the air around us, and also the universe which we live in, the darkness of cold space. It is a medium nonetheless, even though it's filled with dark matter and also vacant, empty space. Another medium we'll look at today, just for retrospect, at the end of my little lecture, there'll be a short film on a medium in a medium. So let's look at a common medium. We'll look at our own oceans. We often have fish tanks in offices and in our own homes, and we put exotic fish in them. They look very much like the coral reef or something like that, the natural habitat of fish. And fish easily swim around, whether they be in the ocean or whether they be in an aquarium. These fish are buoyant. They breathe the water. They separate the water with oxygen and hydrogen, and they fill their lungs and their gills with this precious medium fluid. We call it water, salt water, ocean water, water nonetheless. No matter how murky or dark it is, or no matter how crystal clear it is, we never forget that the fish is swimming around in water. The most abundant source of fluid on the planet. 2/3 of the planet is covered with this water. It is also called a medium. We call it a fluid or fluid physics. We call it many things. Sometimes water is the most common medium found on the planet for aquatic creatures. Again, fish seem to have no sense of gravity. They easily flow back and forth, even though they do have an idea of up and down. The idea of this crystal clear fluid medium is the idea that we're trying to express today. In the expression of a medium is a source, a natural source of state of matter or liquid or energy. If we look at plasma energy and the byproducts of plasma energy, especially if we look at dark energy, or even the idea of spatial energy, electromagnetic waves, bursts of electricity, things that come out, from our sun, as well as radiate through the entire plasma of our galaxy. Our galaxy is alive with teeming energy. A lot of it we cannot see. It's like gamma radiation, or infrared, or microwave. All of these emanate from our sun, but yet we don't see them on a day-to-day level because our atmosphere blocks out almost 90%. The ones that do penetrate, we notice the effect of this medium of energy by a tan. The solar rays hit our skin and we tan. The melanin in our bodies naturally react to this medium of energy. There are many things that happen within the medium of cosmic space, but basically it's visual. We see the stars at night, and this are the many suns that proliferate through our Milky Way. The Milky Way itself glows in the middle of the night. Many ancient civilizations call this the spine of the universe. The Milky Way galaxy is brilliantly lit even far, far away. As we see other galaxies of the same approximate size and shape spinning throughout the cosmos, they are heavily lit. Even with long-term exposure, we can see them, or with X-ray telescopes, we can still see them. The energy that's around us perforates and penetrates almost everything. There is Small subparticles that are being ejected from our sun on a 24/7 basis, which actually penetrate. They're moving so fast that they actually penetrate the Earth. These things penetrate all planets, even close to the sun or far into the distance. These things may even surpass time itself by their rapid speed, but we can detect them as they burst from our sun's surface and impact our planet and our scientific equipment. So there are many things in this medium of cosmic space which we're just totally unaware of because we just don't have the sensory perception or idea that they exist. It's only been through scientific equipment that have been refined and become more sensitive that we have been able to see and understand this cosmic radiation that penetrates the entire universe. The same ideas with exterior forces that kind of infiltrate our lives. These exterior forces, again, are energy. This energy emanates not only from our sun, but emanates throughout the entire known dimension that we live in. This dimension, basically based on frequencies of energy, is a staple, a subatomic quantum staple that has created or maintained the known dimension that we are in. The staple of this quantum physics is unknown because we don't have a working theory to include it. Everyone talks about the Big Bang. Well, the Big Bang actually was a black hole. Once our universe collapses, it collapses into a massive black hole, and then it will explode again. The universe is reborn. It will grow to twice the original size as it was at one time, but the whole idea is that it goes and falls back into a black hole and then is reborn. Right now, we're somewhere in the very beginnings of our universe. We have a long, long way to go before it will collapse. But technically, the Big Bang was in the center of a massive black hole in the darkness of space. Beyond that darkness is something that we typically will call heaven. Of course, that's not really what it is. We just say it's the afterlife. Now, the afterlife is so strong of an energy source, it is related to the most fundamental properties of our entire universe. It is called a plasma energy. This plasma energy can be detected in very micro amounts, but it becomes a medium, a very interesting medium, just like salt water is to fish swimming along the coral reef. This medium, again, no matter how transparent or elusive it may be, it is the same medium in which entities flow through. Now, these entities react and associate themselves with what we know as plasma energy, a very common sub-quantum staple of the entire universe. So we know that the afterlife, or heaven, is related to it. And we have calculated that everything that we see through the Hubble telescope and beyond is a finite amount of the afterlife. So we've calculated with all of our scientific know-how the best idea on how to extrapolate how big the afterlife really is. The afterlife is, according to this, if the Earth was a single electron, then we would travel 100 zillion light years away from that electron, and we would come to the edge of what we would know as the afterlife, the quantifiable size of it. And all the other dimensions that we understand coexist within the afterlife. Now, heaven, as it's referred to, basically in the Greek, is the place where the gods dwell. It is heaven. But we understand through our basic idea of language that heaven basically is only the area in which God dwells, and it's a sphere It is a round place, a sphere. Then everything else beyond that sphere is the afterlife. And the afterlife, again, is so large, it would take billions of dimensions as we can see to fill it. It's an incredibly large place. The afterlife is also an energy platform. A platform of energy, very much like electricity that runs your building, is a platform for other devices to work off of. Electricity, once created, can supply energy to everything. The afterlife is the same idea. It supplies energy to living matter, and it's always creating. But as living matter, by its quantifiable state, always will decompose because of the idea of time. So, if we look at the idea of energy, energy has no time. Energy is filled with frequencies. All of the frequencies working together in order to create and associate inside a universe of energy. The idea of this is the same as we understand in our own atmosphere, in the oceans of the seas, and the life that is contained in them. Again, no matter how transparent it may appear, it still exists. So instead of looking at air molecules or the aurora borealis, what we're looking at now is not the quantum fabric of our known dimension. We're looking at the fabric that supports and is the staple, the architect of that dimension. So let's say we take a look at biology, the human cells, and the genetic material that makes us all up. The genetic material, such as the G's, T's, A's, all have electromagnetic signatures, and they find each other in our bodies, through our cells, through electromagnetic signatures, like magnets finding which end to connect to. This electromagnetic signature is not only in genetics, not only in the chromosomes of our bodies, it's also in the cellular structure of our bodies. Even our cells have an electromagnetic disposition. So do our bodies. Our bodies create auras, auric fields, which is the bioconductivity, the electricity that runs through our bodies and extends quite a distance beyond our bodies. The signature of basic dimensions are associated together by electromagnetic forces, two magnets sticking together, connecting, because that's the way they're designed to do it. But they can only be designed to do it, or only do it, if they're in an environment or a medium in which they can. And so the construct of biological life became very easy, because we are in a medium called Earth, where it had all of the heavy elements, the gases, sulfuric acid, to make biological life. Carl Sagan, while he was still alive, did a basic experiment. They took a basic tube or a beaker, they filled it with the basic particles of life and ran a lot of electricity through it. The electricity generated in a very short time life. It was mold, basic life, but yet it was still life all the same. The idea is that it didn't take a long time for life to develop on the Earth, because once you apply electricity to it, a form of plasma, it instantly starts to collect together to create chromosomes, to create single-celled animals, to create plant life and everything else. Adding a little bit of plasma to the recipe always comes out with living breathing organisms. No matter how you change it, it still needs a form of plasma to jumpstart it. Just like someone having cardiac arrest, they need a little electricity to get their heart going again, just like we need a little electricity to get the earth going. So basically, if we look at it, the construct of plasma can be almost anything, as long as it's consistent and supports life that is in it. But what if life as we understand it is consciousness itself? What if our lives are not based upon an electromagnetic signature called the human body as a plasma in order to contain it? What if the plasma, the energy, the medium of my consciousness was outside or running all through my body? And that would change the game, where consciousness may not be local, may not be here, it could be in the cloud. So, what we're going to look at next in this very short film is a medium talking to ghosts. A medium communicating within the medium of ghosts. So let's look at ghosts like we look at the fish. The fish are consciousness swimming through water in their natural environment. And ghosts are swimming like in their natural environment in a larger form of plasma energy, or some kind of energy that is equal and equivalent to itself. So let's look at this again, reevaluate. Could fish live in any other type of medium? Maybe, but probably not. So entities can only live in a unique and specialized medium. That medium has to fulfill their needs, like the water fulfills the needs for the fish. So does the energy they're in fulfills their needs. It stabilizes consciousness for it to exist. So we're no longer looking at gamma radiation or microwave radiation. We're no longer looking at the fluidity of water or the molecules of the air for survival. Maybe there's something even bigger, something more complex, but yet is the architecture, the archetype for our dimension. It's an energy that runs all the way through it and coexists with us. And that energy by itself, we could easily call the afterlife. And believe you me, it's one of the strongest exterior forces, not only in size, but abundance, ever discovered. It's almost virtually endless and consistently renewing itself. Things to ponder and think about as we watch this film, Brimstone Rising, an investigation in a hotel in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm your host, Dr. Michael Lynch, and I want to thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for this short film, and have a great day. What you're seeing for the first time on television or anywhere is a psychic communicating with entities in the basement of the San Carlos Hotel in Phoenix, Arizona. As you can see in slow motion, there are white orbs dancing and flying around Carrie Schubert, psychic medium. Never before has this ever been captured on film and or video. Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Lynch, paranormal investigator. I had the proud opportunity to be with Carrie Schubert as she investigated the San Carlos Hotel in Phoenix, Arizona. The San Carlos has had a lot of paranormal activity, but what's been happening lately is extraordinary. Come with us and join us on our investigation of the San Carlos Hotel. Our story begins in 1928 with the Hotel San Carlos, one of 3 major hotels being built in the Phoenix area, designed for its luxury and its staple of the rich and famous. Here movie stars roam the halls, but in this investigation will be more than just movie stars or the rich and famous that still roam these halls. We will find that there are many guests still at the San Carlos Hotel. Some are wanted and some are unwanted. During this investigation, we'll actually see some of the most unlikely guests of all. We start our investigation on the 2nd floor, where there has been noted paranormal activity, ghostly activity, voices, lights being turned off and on. We'll travel to the far end of the 2nd floor, near the conference rooms, to find the internet room where there are computers and an internet hub for the guests and business clients that come and frequent these meeting rooms. Carrie Schubert opens the door, and then she will put a chair in the center of the room.
I can sort of feel something, but not anything intense.
While she's located in the center of the room, she starts to sense that there are ghosts, a ghostly presence there with her. She starts to describe several types of figures, male and female, that are occupying the room where she is at and the room adjacent to her. We begin to film her in paravision, and you'll see that there is an entity flying right around her. We'll put that into slow motion and highlight it for you. This is one of the entities that she was talking to while she was in the room. We'll see it again here in super slow motion as the entity flies out from behind her and then exits through the doorway. This is just one of another ghostly
Is there anything you'd like to tell us?
That was there in
anything
the room.
you'd like to tell us? Say to us?
I feel his face like changing shapes on me, like it's metamorphosizing. My head hurts.
Our investigation then led us downstairs into the basement. Several other paranormal investigators have remarked that there are children or some type of entities in the basement near the well. Even though in this investigation, even though we were headed for the well, Carrie pointed to the right as if there were some type of activity toward the access panels and the air conditioning ducts. We then investigate both sides, one going down the long end of the basement and on the other side paralleling that, to see if there is any abnormal or paranormal effects in this walk space. Even though Carrie suggested that there was something there, we could not see it on any video camera that we had with us. Whatever was there was very elusive and hiding from Carrie as well as our camera people. We decided to take another right, a detour, back into where the air conditioning ducts actually were. The entire air conditioning system is below the basement area, way out of the way of any known tourist activity. This special access was given to us in order for us to find what was really going on. I followed Carrie down these dark corridors until she came across something of an entity that she would like to stop and talk to. It was a woman entity, and she went into a full description of that entity. We'll see that now as we pass this major air conditioning duct. Carrie's now communicating with the entity. She feels its presence, and just shortly after, she starts talking to the entity.
it will appear.
Is she revealing anything? Is she telling you anything?
I'm letting her kind of like move through me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just telling her, tell your story, tell your story. What I'm feeling is like she's coming like into me.
Here the entity is now as it goes around Carrie. We see it
Yeah,
here
she's
in
right
a
behind you.
highlighted paravision.
She's over your left shoulder.
It wasn't long after that another entity appears, which appears to be either an angel or the entity returning. It was hard to determine at this time. But Carrie was in full contact with an entity, and she was describing this entity completely, from hair to clothes, and as you can see, she was in total darkness when she was doing this. Through paravision, our ability to videotape entities, another one appears, which could be, at this time, by our best estimates, an angel. This entity, angel or ghost, hovered for several minutes before it departed. Carrie again was in contact with it and was talking to it very clearly. Whatever it was not in any fear of Carrie or myself or any of the camera personnel that was there. It hovered for a long time before it then wandered away. After making those contacts, we then went further back into the depths of the basement. Carrie felt that there was some activity in this other area, which she then walked into, and it was in total darkness. In this area, we see that she is in communication with several different ghosts at the same time. She declares that these are children entities. And you can tell by their very playful nature here in slow motion that there are at least 4 of these entities playing around Carrie as she's trying to communicate with them. We've slowed this version down so that you can see that they are, for all practical purposes, a plasma type ball, and Carrie is trying to communicate with most of them. Carrie's psychic and medium abilities give her a unique perspective on the communication with other spirits that are there in the room. As you can see here in this highlighted clip, that there was one traveling right behind her, and there is another one traveling again around her as she is trying to communicate with it. She does get up and make a turn, and she does sense something behind her. In that clip, we will see that she will walk directly, in this clip here, she will walk directly into the entity as it will go pass between her hands. Carrie is aware of the location of the entities because she is able to sense where they're at. In many cases, most psychics are unable to do that. But here, in the bottom of the San Carlos Hotel, she is able to communicate with several different entities and declare that they are children playing in the basement of the San Carlos. Here's another one highlighted. Many of them move so rapidly, we have to put the entire video into slow motion, or we would not be able to see them at all. These are highlighted, and you can see them dance around or fly around Carrie as she is still communicating with most of them.
Thank you for watching Brimstone Rising and our case at the San Carlos Hotel. Until next time, I'm Dr. Michael Lynch. Thank you for watching.